Hi, welcome to our, I guess, it's not really a midweek warm-up.
It's not.
It's kind of
Yeah.
more of a recap of last year and kind of a look ahead to what we're looking at doing and what we feel where God is leading. So,
For this year
yeah, thanks for joining us.
with stuff. Totally. So we're going to go through everything that we went through last year right quick, and we'll see how it goes. So the first project we did was for Roxanne. If you're watching this, yay, you're our first victim. Help target project. And we installed a dryer vent for her at her house, and it was a lot cheaper than it would have been the
Yeah,
appliance company had done it,
yeah,
and a lot more timely because she was
Well-
looking at months out,
yeah.
and that was ridiculous. But really, our kickoff project is working for her, and then next thing we did was our big dinner, and obviously the purpose of the dinner was both to kick off the ministry officially and to get people online with what God has been doing, both in our hearts for years now, and obviously in the ones that have been prepared for what God worked for through us.
Sorry, I think you might be moving the table and thus the camera. Every
Move the
time you move
camera?
your arm.
What's wrong with that?
Technology issues.
Okay, you can talk about the next one then.
Anyhow, so we stepped out in, well, it was May 1st that we officially told the church that we were going to be leaving, and we were looking at just kind of setting up churches. What we had planned was very different from what happened, because we tend to do that. I tend to do that. God tells us, okay, here's your next step, and I extrapolate, a bunch of different things after, and like try and anticipate the trajectory, which is funny because I don't have all the variables. So,
Well, we did have a bunch of churches that were scheduled and then they canceled for whatever reason, whether it was they had personal problems, they ran into financial problems, paying
medical
for
problems.
stuff, medical
Yeah.
problems with different people.
Yeah,
Cancer causes problems for some reason like that.
yeah.
But God took care of it anyway.
Yeah. So, like Nathan said, we helped some people there in Roseburg before we left. We had our kickoff dinner, which was very fun, but we were unnecessarily verbose, I think.
It's good to be verbose sometimes.
Yeah.
Not during my sermons.
Yeah. So, anyhow, we made it to Montana, and the very first church was this church, the Outdoorsman Church, which we did not want to come to. I guess I feel like I didn't want to more, and you were kind of like, eh.
We were hesitant to come to Missoula.
Yeah, not because of the church. We didn't know anyone here. We didn't know anything about the church, really.
Well, we didn't know that we knew people here.
Yeah.
It was just, it's Missoula.
Yeah, but it was absolutely something God had arranged because they had a group cancel last minute that was supposed to come and help do some projects.
And they wouldn't have gone them done anyway.
And they had this series of projects that needed to be done before a very large outreach event the next week. So we actually ended up missing a wedding for a friend in
Sorry,
Oregon.
Sabrina and Chris.
Yeah, sorry, Chris and Sabrina. But we had to miss their wedding to drive here and get set up, get all of our stuff into storage, and get over here so we could start work. And clearly, almost every weekly video, midweek warm up has been filmed either in our truck, in
Outside
the
of
Suburban,
here.
or here.
We've been here a lot recently for some reason.
We've been here a lot. So obviously God knew what he was doing, not only in providing the work that needed to be done for them to get their, to have their entire, I think it was almost 200 kids for their day camps taken care of, but also, for us to have a place that we can kind of fall back to and encouragement and fellowship. So
Now she's jumping
It's
ahead.
anyhow,
That's not this project. That's later.
no, but that's an overall why I think it was a good thing that we came to
Supposed to be in order.
Okay,
This
so
is 3 projects for this next one.
okay, Lincoln.
We're not even done with the outdoors.
Okay, I'm sorry.
Not
You
the
wanted
Lincoln.
to talk about specific things you did?
That's what we're doing here.
Okay.
It's going through every project.
Go ahead.
So silly. So the 3 that Emily was trying to skip over here is that first we went through and fixed their stage because they took out the baptismal, which is really funny. They're actually using a feed trough now to dunk people in.
It works though.
It doesn't have hot water, but I'm not sure it had hot water before. So we did that one first, and then we went through and cut a nice hole in a wall, installed their door going into the next classroom over from here. It's on the other side of that wall there. And that was another can of worms when we opened that wall up and found 3 electrical lines that weren't supposed to be there
Yeah.
and were armor clad. So that was fun. And then the other project was wiring in new outlets and I guess lots of outlets
Lots of outlets.
all over the stage and wiring in new power with a new sub panel there. And so that was time consuming.
Intensive. Well, I'm glad we did the stage first. It just made sense to
It
get
needed to be
that
done.
finished so that you could run the wires appropriately.
So I can move everything else off the stage.
Yeah.
But that was definitely a God taking care of it thing because there was a lot of work got done really quickly. And it was a lot of work.
I feel like there was something more we did that week, but maybe it was just
Yeah, the
those
kids went
3
camping
things.
and we were free from them.
Yeah, the girls got to go camping and
It was nice being
yeah,
free.
it was nice. It was
You'll
fun.
never understand how much you love your kids until you're in a trailer with them for 6 months.
Who's jumping ahead now?
That's part of the look ahead. Be happy. Okay, so next thing was we jumped to Lincoln, and the big thing we did in Lincoln for that week was we went and did some prep work for different projects that we had going on up in Lincoln, which they haven't actually happened yet because sometimes
Weather
money
and-
is an issue for some people with. One of the big ones is we're going to go and put a double wide trailer onto a permanent foundation, and it takes money, and she doesn't have it yet, and we certainly can't afford to pay for the materials for her.
Yeah, but yeah, there's things like money that comes in, and things
And of course,
like
weather.
time and weather. I mean, our time really, especially this last summer, was devoted to doing these different projects. So for us, that wasn't necessarily a problem, but especially something like involving a home or an office or something that would then essentially be unusable for the time that we're there.
For 2 weeks.
It's not necessarily feasible for them.
It's harder for people getting the work done sometimes than for us to do the work
Yeah,
because of the impact we make yes, the project makes a good impact at the end, but it makes an impact in the process too.
yeah,
Like when we have everything strewn out across the floor because we're putting a hole in the wall and suddenly there's wall everywhere instead of just in the wall, it causes a problem if you're trying to do things like cook when there's sheetrock dust in the air,
yeah.
especially when you vacuum it up and it sprays it out through the building.
Oh my goodness, that was so bad. The vacuum, so
It was hilarious.
an old shop vacuuming up all this dust, and it just has like a cloud of white coming out the back of it. So I was like, okay, that's not helping.
It needed a filter.
Anyhow,
Okay, so we got done in Lincoln. Then we came back here to the outdoorsman, and that's gonna be a recurring thing. We came back to the outdoorsman, and so that week we had what?
I think that week we actually were just we had another church that in Lewiston, no,
Thompson Falls.
Thompson Falls.
No, I'm just throwing names down.
No, stop. It was near Helena. Now I need to look at a map right now because my brain is a little not with it.
It's over that way.
There was another church we were supposed to be at that week, but they canceled kind of last minute, which was kind of a shock, but it was fine. We came back here to kind of regroup and go to a laundromat, and I think we were just kind of looking at, okay, what next? Like every church that we had either not called back, not scheduled or changed the schedule or canceled. So we were like a little stalled for what to do next.
We were, but we were also working on other things that weren't construction necessarily.
Well,
We
yeah.
were working on getting stuff ready for their youth with the new people that came in. And then started prep work for the next project that we did here a few weeks later.
Yeah. So, pretty much every time we bounce back to the outdoorsman, we find more little jobs to do, and maybe not so little jobs, but we find more work to do while we're here just because it's what we do.
And sing karaoke.
And
Emily's turn next.
I don't sing in front of humans. I
Hence
sing.
why karaoke.
I can sing all right, but not when I think anyone's listening. Right. When you
Karaoke
sing.
does mean tone deaf, so
I'm not tone deaf.
there's
though.
no problem whatsoever.
But I'm not tone deaf.
But karaoke means you can be bad and it doesn't matter.
So
Even though my
yeah.
wife sings marvelously until she knows I'm listening.
Thanks.
You're welcome.
Okay. Anyway.
Okay, so I went from doing a few little projects here to Superior, and we have a very painful video on Superior. And it was painful more for us than anyone else because it was
It was
100
just
and
so
some
hot.
degrees.
And
And we were sunburned
I-
very badly.
I guess learning from our past mistakes, from now on, I think we're gonna have to take more of a peek at weather. Looking forward to different projects, like if it's outside, we
Or
need
inside.
to not be working outside in 100+ degree weather with no shade.
Yeah, so
But the family was great.
there was a family, yes.
I
And they had a
like.
cat. And the cat was nice. I like the cat.
They were great.
I'm confused why the kids never talk to anyone, but that's the way homeschool families work frequently.
Our
So
kids weren't exactly very talkative either. So
they are very verbose though,
once you
used
get
to.
them started, it's hard to get them to stop,
Okay.
especially for Leia.
So the 3 projects we got done in Superior where we did their siding on their basement for the new parsonage. And then we tiled their bathroom downstairs and we tiled their laundry room. And those both went better than I expected to. Sometimes there's issues with tile with walls not being square.
Sometimes, yeah.
You have to adjust. It's the way things go.
Well, and even like with slate tile, which that was not necessarily, we were discussing the other day that sometimes tiles look square, but they're not really truly square. So you might
Or the same thickness.
start a row and suddenly you've got one tile that's up a 1/16 or an 1/8 of an inch above the others, and it's slightly like turning your whole row because it's not quite straight on one edge. So
Wide grout lines are your friends.
that's the buffer for not perfect tile.
Exactly. And then you hide it also with the baseboards on the side
Anyway,
whenever possible. So we did those 3 projects and then we came back to the outdoors for like 2 days to regroup in order for camp. Camp's kind of one of those terrifying words you hear as an adult.
camp was exhausting, but it was really fun.
No one got shot. No one
We
died, I think.
no.
Only a few people went to the hospital.
No, a bunch of kids learned how to shoot a rifle. A bunch of kids learned how to raft. A bunch of kids learned how to not go to sleep when lights out
Pretty
came.
sure they're masters of that.
Yeah, I think that's kind of an automatic, just an inherent ability. But it was good. At the camp, I was a counselor. Bella cooked, and the Leia and Nora were babysitting, and Nathan was just available to help fix things. And he also
I
got
shot
to
guns.
teach how to use a rifle.
And
So
I talked theology with visiting pastors.
yeah, so it was good.
Did fun things.
Yeah,
Unlike Emily.
I had fun. It was exhausting though. I am old for a counselor of 5th and 6th grade kids.
She's
And
29 again.
no, I'm 38.
She's 29 again.
Am I 38 or 37?
No,
I don't know.
you're 37.
Okay, 37. I'll be
29.
38 this year.
29.
No.
12.
Anyhow, I might look 12, I might sound 12, but no.
Yep.
Anyhow, camp, we had, I want to say it was 5 girls for sure that gave their life to Christ that week. So I think that was just in my cabin of 18.
There were like 12 here
Yeah.
from the week that we did
Yeah.
work here.
Yeah. So God wasn't, I mean, we were not necessarily directly evangelizing, but
No, but our purpose is to prepare for everyone else to be able to for lots of things. Because there's a lot of work that goes into doing evangelism events. And you can't
Yes.
avoid that.
yeah.
And sometimes you need help getting ready.
Yeah.
Anything else about camp you want to say?
Sunburn. For some reason, my eyelids, like all over my eyes, don't sunburn.
But it's funny.
It was so bad. I looked like this weird raccoon. Like, oh my goodness, I was so red. It was very awful. Wear sunscreen if you go rafting. There you go. That's the moral of the story.
Or don't go rafting.
It
Problem
was
solved.
fun. You should go with me next time. Okay. Anyway.
Maybe.
Next.
Okay, so then we came back to the outdoorsman again. Yay. It's a recurring thing. And so the big thing we did then is they had a lot of trim work that was not done. And so you look at a building and say, oh, look, it's a building. And go, oh, wait. This really was a warehouse, wasn't it?
Yeah.
Because there was a fencing warehouse before. And it very much looked like a fencing warehouse.
Well,
but
when
when-
you look closer, yeah.
But once you start putting things like putting the box around the screen so the screen looks finished and trimming the top edge of the wall, which is at 27 feet up in the air,
Yeah.
and doing things like that, it makes a big difference. And then also, that's when we hung the TV, right?
Yes, I think that's when we hung the TV in the entry.
To get the new signs up. for
and
'em.
got the hole through the wall so you could actually, not just a blank bare hole, but there's like a little gasket sort of thing that you put in the wall so the cables can go through.
It's a feathered wall plate.
There you go, that thing,
Makes the install look very pretty and nice.
instead of a hole in the wall. So
But we can show you video of holes in the wall here if you'd like to see some.
anyhow, we can show them.
Because there are some.
Do we have a video of the hole in the wall at Pine Grove, or was it just
Probably.
I think it was a
There's
kids'
lots of holes.
parents' night out type thing, and
I
the
have
kids
pictures of that one.
put a hole in the wall because they got a little rowdy with the scooter board things.
That wasn't the kids. That was Bob.
Oh, was it Bob?
That
I
was
don't
Bob
know.
Moore that did it.
It was. People got rowdy. We'll just say that.
Bob Moore playing with his kids.
But it was an easy fix, mostly.
Well, I didn't fix that one.
No.
Don fixed that one.
Yeah.
But I appreciate Don doing such for me.
Anyhow,
So we did some more repair work and did stuff there, and then we found out, so that electrical line we fixed and installed? Well, we want to run the new power back down to it and install an RV pad.
you make it sound so sarcastic and like not nice.
It's not fun running that type of cable. You should try it sometime.
Yeah, but they chose to do that for us.
Well, not just for us, but yes, it's been benefiting us very much. But it's not fun running cables like that.
Well,
And we used the Suburban to do it.
it got complicated.
And I messed up.
So I think that's probably the
Just
least
because I
fun part
didn't
of it.
talk to Dave first like I should have. And if Dave is watching, I appreciate all your help.
Anyhow, so the Outdoorsman Church decided to have that rerun so that we could officially put an RV pad down below where they used to have a mobile home hooked up, so that we would have a place to stop whenever we were in the area, and just anyone visiting, visiting pastors or people traveling through or whatnot. So
And so we can work on installing an outdoor stage later this year.
yeah,
Which
So-
the 20 amp works marvelously. I'm glad with that.
yeah.
We'll discuss that one later. Okay, so from there we went to Shelby. And I believe that's the first time you ever saw North Dakota.
Yeah. If look up a map of Montana. Maybe we'll overlay it.
Probably not. We'll forget. Get
The
it right down. You talk.
Yeah, Shelby is just west of the central line of Montana,
It's actually, yeah,
but
fairways west, actually.
yeah,
About a third of the way across the state.
but it is very clearly past the Rockies and very much Great Plains.
It's North Dakota.
It looked
It just
like
doesn't realize it.
some of the people even have some of that North Dakota accent. I know if you're from North Dakota, I don't mean this in a bad way at all. I just recognize that there's kind of the way that they talk is,
Of course they do, don't you know?
that's a little more
No, that's
east
definitely
than-
North Dakota.
Anyway,
They have oofta cakes there.
oofta tacos.
Yeah,
Anyway,
they're
so
posers.
I have been to Ohio, I've been to New Mexico, obviously, and Texas, and pretty much every western state also. Yeah, I've been to every western state, Montana, Utah, Colorado. Anyway, you don't need to know all that. The
Yes,
point
all
being,
that.
going to Shelby was weird because I knew I was in Montana, but it did not feel or look like Montana.
Because
But
it's not Montana, it's North Dakota.
but the
It's flat.
the church was great. I met
Well, the people of the church were great. The building was not.
the
Which is why
church
we were there.
building is having some problems. Their building itself is the second oldest Southern Baptist church in Montana, but because they're in a floodplain,
And it flooded.
it's flooded, off and on over the last, 100 and some years that it's
Yeah.
been there. And so the foundation has moved enough and the wooden structure on top is actually essentially separating from the foundation. The foundation is crumbling. So that's the primary main part of their building. But they own a building across the street that used to be a
Masonic.
Masonic Lodge. They've owned it for a long time, but used it for youth. So we were helping kind of remodel it so that they could use it for worship during another transition and building period to replace the sanctuary with a new structure. So that's kind of the long story, but
It's actually kind of a short version. Because the Shelby one we haven't released the video of yet. Because that was 2 different weeks that we were there in a row. And
I
we
get
just haven't
really
gotten the
exhausted
video
just
done yet.
watching them trying to sort through it.
Well, there's 4 different projects we did there. Because realistically, each bathroom was its own demolition project, which that took a lot of time.
Yeah.
And it was fun hitting things with a hammer. And the kids had never gone to demolish anything before, so it was fun watching them do stuff. But we demolished both bathrooms separately, and then when we started rebuilding the women's bathroom, we demolished the men's one at the same time. And then we had to go through re-sheetrock, do all the plumbing and all the wiring in both bathrooms too,
And install new windows
and do new flooring.
and do new flooring.
So they're very much a full remodel on both of them.
Yeah.
And they look much better, and now they're up to the ADA code that they certainly
Bigger
were not
doors.
before.
Yeah, because they had, it was built in the 60s, so it had narrower, it was 28-inch doors?
The women's
they
one was
were-
28, the men's was 24.
Yeah, so they were just too narrow for the potential of a wheelchair to access. And
Or me.
they looked very dated. But again, the people that we interacted with were great. May, I don't know if May watches, but hi May, if you do.
Well, you obviously got to watch it sometime when I get the videos done before I can post them. But
Yeah, hopefully we'll have them soon.
we did do the projects. By God's grace, we lived through it. That was definitely, it wasn't the church's fault at all. It was just very stressful being there with the issues Suburban were having at that point.
Yeah, our vehicle started having more issues at that moment, and then, or I guess at that point.
Our brakes squeaked nicely, and we bent the trailer hitch, getting the trailer out.
Was that when we pulled out, or do you think it happened like on the
It was when
frost
we
heaves?
pulled out.
Yeah.
Because we parked it up on the sidewalk patio front and dropped like this. And the trailer went, and so the hitch went.
So we probably need a new hitch, which is kind of expensive, but that's okay. We'll figure it out.
God will take care of it.
Yeah. Okay, so Shelby really was, as much as I didn't like not being in the mountains, as much as I didn't like
It reminded me of North Dakota.
not having trees,
I like North
he
Dakota.
loved North Dakota. And most of the people we interacted with, almost all of them, were fantastic. They were just so kind and so nice.
And there was a Pizza Hut.
And we got to know the people at the hardware store really well. So that was
And the gas
fun.
station.
And the people at the gas station knew us
I
pretty
used
well.
a whole tank of gas driving to the gas station 2 miles away.
Over the 2 weeks, not like
It was a present.
once. Anyway, yeah.
There was a lot of trips to the stores.
It was a lot, but it was good. So after Shelby, we again we're kind of in this like I don't really know what is next because we've been so focused on this project that we don't really have anything lined up for later, and some of that I think was just poor planning. Some of that I think was just God again providing, knowing that we needed rest.
Which we didn't know we needed.
Well,
We found out during the process because I couldn't hold my arm up anymore because I had doing the sheetrock on the ceiling during Shelby.
Yeah.
But we had planned to do project 1 week, then the following weekend drive to the next place, do a project that week, go to the next place that weekend.
Yeah.
And that was probably a bit more ambitious than we should have been in our planning.
Well, I think God could definitely make that happen, but I think
Not with
we
full demolition and
physically
construction.
needed rest. So yeah, we came back here to Outdoorsman again, and I think at that point they were like, are you guys gonna be around for a while? Or like, I don't know. I think they weren't sure exactly what they'd gotten themselves into.
Yeah, we'll come back to that though. 'Cause now we're talking about Lincoln.
I'm sorry.
You skipped one.
I did. I can't read his handwriting very well.
So once again, this is a video that we don't have done yet because the way it works. But
Yeah.
we have some friends up there that I have known for 32-ish years, probably
I've
now,
known for
most of 20.
most of 20.
So we know them for a long time. And their house is an interesting story because it's not the house they started out with.
It's right next door.
It's the next door house that they bought to make into a nursery and preschool and daycare about 15 years ago. And God provided for them to do that then, and then provided for them to sell their other house and move into that one when they needed to close down, which was once again God's timing on that happening, even though they didn't see it at the time. And part of the issue with the house now is that wooden fences get old, and wooden fences don't like snow. And if you've ever been in Lincoln in
They
winter,
get a lot of snow.
you'll definitely know they have lots of snow and cold weather. Like it was negative 59 there a few weeks ago.
Yeah, the cold snap that we had.
I like the cold. It's not as fun in a trailer though. And so anyway, they needed help with their fence. And part of the issue with their fence is it has snow. So some pieces fall apart, some get loose. And the bigger issue is that if you leave wood outside, wood gets weathered very quickly. And when it's weathered quickly, it takes a lot of not just stain, but full sealant on it. This was Thompson's weather seal they put on it.
Yeah, I think so.
And it was tinted, and it took like 7 or 8 coats for parts of this fence.
So some of the boards that face south especially were very thirsty.
Yeah, and so I presumed it was going to be a normal fence. It was going to take us like an hour to do the entire thing. We came back a second time a week later and had to
It
spend
was most
another half a
of,
day.
I guess, most of 2 days.
It took about 14 hours for us to do the fence.
Yeah, but it was good. Again, we got to visit with our friends and bless them. And
Because there's no way they could do it. They're obviously getting older in age, which
well, and our friend Diana, so it's husband and wife, Mike and Diana. Diana actually ended up in the ER because she was trying to do the fence.
and had a bad reaction to
She
the
had a
scent.
really bad reaction to the fumes from the stain sealer thing, the weather seal. And
I really
so,
like them though. I'm okay.
So anyhow, It was not like a full long-term project or a larger project. I mean, it was an undertaking, but it wasn't.
But it was a necessary project in order to reach people that needed help.
Yeah,
And that's what God has been providing for us to do.
yeah.
So then we can come back to the outdoorsman because that's where we're next. Again. And so what we're doing then is, once again, is the dreaded RV run. And so Emily said I shouldn't say it like a, but
It's just because
it was a nightmare because I messed up.
it's a project that has been, yeah, it got goofed up, and
It was my fault, and I should have done it a different way in the first place, and I didn't think about it because I didn't realize that they'd want to do that later. And so when we got done installing the electrical here, we pulled the entire line out.
and we were like, woohoo, we pulled it out.
It was fun because we did it with the Suburban. And then we found out we had to put it back in. And it's not as fun to put pipe back, or put electrical wires back into a conduit. That's never the
Yeah.
fun part.
Yeah. Anyhow, it was again a challenge.
It was very beneficial for it to get done. And like, we've been plugged into that for 3 months now. So it's definitely been helping us. And Peter and Joanna stayed there when they did the new carpeting in this building while we were in Oregon. So it's helping lots of people. Just
There will be
It's not
footage of the
fun.
new carpet too. I don't know if I'll do it in this video or when
No.
we do the chairs.
it'll be an old video. We did new chairs too, which I did not write on here.
Yeah.
We'll talk about that
but that's
momentarily.
not really like that.
It's a project we did. That's
It's
what we're talking
just
about.
something we helped with. I don't
We
know.
still do.
I still struggle with this, and I don't know. I feel like it's
We're-
worth mentioning.
Talking about what God has done through us and allowed for us to do because we are being blessed by the work God has provided for us to do. Just make it face at me.
Because I just feel like that's what we're supposed to do.
It is what we're supposed to do. And there's nothing wrong with telling people about it
Okay.
on the video.
Anyway,
So anyway, after that, then we went through and we painted, and let's say our children painted a lot more than they were supposed to.
not more walls.
No, they
Just-
painted floors and trim and windows. And
but they got to learn how to clean up the paint and how to,
and they
do
haven't
it
finished
better.
yet.
They need to come back and touch up one more time, I think.
There's still more work that needs done on that, but
Yeah.
there's a lot of work here to be done because we did that, and then I painted the wall upstairs above the bathrooms, and that was interesting. You don't want to use that much spray paint indoors at once. That's a bad idea.
Again, with the fumes.
I used 14 cans of spray paint on that wall in
But
about
we
an hour.
didn't quite get it completed. There's still some that needs done, so
I need more spray paint. If
I don't know how much more there is to paint. So how many more cans do you need?
it'd probably be a better idea to use a pressure sprayer and not use spray paint because,
Probably safer.
yeah, it's spray paint.
Yeah. Yeah.
Let's just say it's spray paint. And so then there are lots of other weird jobs. So we did, like, I went through and I wired their shed out back. So their shed originally was wired for electricity and has lights and everything. It's a very nice shed, actually. And they used it as their finance office before. But it was powered by having a 10 gauge wire running out of the top of the building with an extension cord plug on the end, and they plugged it into an outlet.
On the outside of the building.
That's not safe.
But they got power to it, but it was not technically up to code. Put it that way. So now it's up to code. It has power.
It's installed with conduit through everything, running through into its own circuit breaker. It's all nice and pretty. You have power outside, have lights.
Yeah.
They've been making use of the lights. It's very
Yeah.
good out there.
It's good.
And then we installed new lights out in their parking lot, which they benefit lots of people. We have people that come and get water, some of them every day. And one of the lights lights up where the water spigot is for them. And do it.
It's just the church's well, they have a frost-free spigot back at the back of the lot. And there are several people in the area that just come here to get water because their well has had an issue or
Well, there's
doesn't produce enough or
this location is about a mile away from the pulp mill down the road, and the pulp mill caused lots of water table contamination in the area. And so a lot of the wells here are not drinkable. And so that's what the
This
issue
one
is.
is great,
Which shows it goes down a long ways. And
probably.
I don't know how far, but it's really cold water even during the summer.
Yeah,
It was a very nice change to our water in our tanks. That was not cold.
yeah.
And so we did that, and we had other projects that we've done, like, some things are just kind of stupid when you think about it, like, there's a paper towel dispenser on the wall. We don't want it there. Okay, why don't you take it off? Well, someone lost the key. And then when I get it off the wall, I find the key stuck to the wall behind it.
You're bouncing the camera again.
Well, it's funny. They'll laugh with
Yes.
me. And so it's things like that every church has these problems, but not every church has the person that can do it. And God's had us be here so that we can do these things for them right now. And then there's a bathroom right over there that the shelf collapsed inside it. That's up on the top. And it landed on the light fixture and broke the light fixture off the wall. And
Yeah,
now it's attached properly.
yeah. I don't know that they're even aware.
I don't think they noticed yet, but there is a video that I have stuff for and took pictures and everything, so it will come out sometime.
Yeah.
So maybe they'll find out when they watch our video. We'll find out. But there's been lots and lots of little projects like that around here where people have had things on this list for, 3 years?
Years, months.
Where things just aren't getting done, and
Well, and it's not because people are being lazy or anything like that. It's just sometimes they're not a big enough thing that people think about it when they have the chance, or it's something that's too big and they can't afford to do it just any time, or it's a project that'll take too long to take care of, or they don't have somebody who has the skills or the understanding or know-how, or somebody doesn't feel like they have permission to do it, or like fill in the blank. There are lots of reasons why things don't get done at churches, and
I was gonna say a lot of it is specialized labor for things. Like, we also went through and installed their new sound system, and they have new cameras that are ready to go up, but we're waiting on something. I don't know what it is, but
I'm not sure what they're
they'll
waiting on.
maybe they're just waiting for me to do it.
I think
I don't know.
you
We'll
need
find
to have the conversation with Peter.
And we should have a conversation with Joanne.
No.
But that stuff that we've gotten done also is installed the new sound system, which sounds amazing. Not necessarily because I did it, but compared to the other sound system, it's definitely a good sound system.
Yeah.
But sometimes it's just getting things in there right and not blowing speakers in the process, which we've seen too. And then
Yeah.
now there's sound in their nursery, which they never had before, which
Yep.
once again, specialized knowledge to know which connections are necessary, which not everyone has. But going on from there, there is a lady that is the mom of one of the people from church here that she is getting up in there in age and can't make it down her steps anymore into her backyard.
Yeah.
And so she
Hurts
asked
your
us,
knees.
well, she asked us back in August if we could,
Build a ramp.
build a ramp for her. And someone here at the church graciously donated an aluminum ramp for us to install for her.
Mm-hmm.
And it got stuck in the snow for the last 3 months, and we finally delivered it last week.
Mm-hmm.
So hopefully we'll have that one installed for her soon, now that she has a use for it till the snow melts.
Yeah.
But it's that or at her house, so that's a big step.
Yeah.
And then, do you want to talk about anything in Oregon? Because we went to Oregon at that point too.
Yeah.
And then we broke the Suburban. Well, I did. And Ben fixed it.
I'm trying
Yay,
to think
Ben.
the best way to summarize Oregon.
It rains, but it didn't rain on us. There's your summary.
That's not what I mean.
God showed he was good.
God put us in the right place at the right time on the interstate on the way over. And I don't know, for all we know, that provided some change or kept us from some other catastrophe or something.
But
we
we had a
were,
catastrophe, but they
we
didn't
were-
have theirs.
we were able to help a young couple, and that was
So they didn't get run over.
great. And then we
Got stranded for 2 days.
got stranded in Rufus, and that was a challenge. I don't know. It's anytime God interrupts your plans or interrupts what you think is supposed to be happening or what you anticipated, it's hard because there's this moment of, or moments of, wait, what just happened? Why did that happen? Being annoyed or angry at God because it happened, trying to figure out what to do, and like there's this whole process of dealing with this interruption.
Well, frequently in our perspective, it's how dare God interrupt our plans?
Yeah.
It's like we think that God doesn't know what's best. What's up with that?
I think it's because we think we know what he's up to because we've taken that first step that he's shown us and extrapolated out what we think he's going to do again. And when he doesn't do that thing that we thought because he anticipated and knew something big was going to happen, I don't know, it's funny because I just think we so easily can forget that when we're surprised, God already knew it was going to happen and already has provided or is working on a solution. Whether it's a solution that we like or not is a totally different thing. He's going to work out what is best for us. And that issue that arose
It arised.
is, if we allow him to, going to be used to draw us closer to him. And I think that was part of the struggle in Rufus, was just dealing with,
It was hot.
it was hot. We couldn't really run the AC very much.
We
And
couldn't run it at all since we had no power to the trailer.
yeah,
And the
it
batteries
just-
died. Our ice cream melted. And the Suburban wouldn't go anywhere, so
it was all around a challenge. So anyway, we
left with the truck.
left Oregon with a truck and no deer. Nathan did not get any critters.
Well, we had elk, but we didn't have a deer.
Well, not because you got an elk, because some friends gave us elk.
We still had meat.
We did, again, our friends, Ben and Jen Peterson, towed the Suburban to their home, and Ben fixed the Suburban for us. The church that we left in Roseburg helped cover the cost of that, and some friends helped cover the cost of repairs for the Suburban, which was amazing and wonderful. Again, God providing.
And currently the truck is in the shop having its transmission, front differential, and axles replaced because they were bad when we got it and we didn't know.
Yeah, so that was a fun thing.
But God provided
to
for
find
that
out.
to happen too, so
Yeah.
hopefully by the time the video comes out, we will have the truck back.
Hopefully, we'll let you know.
Maybe.
Let's see what after that. Coming back.
So after it came back, then we had a vacation because we really needed one. Because we were obviously really stressed after being stuck in Rufus for
Yeah.
days and going hunting for 2 weeks without getting a deer or
Well,
seeing a deer actually.
It was like 75 most of the time you were out hunting and
or
sunny.
80, 85.
It was
It was not good hunting weather.
It was not normal hunting weather, for sure.
Yeah. So it came
unless
back.
you're hunting in the savannah.
But we're not hunting savanna, we're hunting reindeer. Rainforest deer.
Deer in the rain.
Dog-sized reindeer. Okay, so anyway, we came back and it was coming into, obviously, Halloween. Actually, the day before Halloween is when the new chairs were delivered, and so,
Is it?
yes. And so we got the old chairs here at the church taken care of. They were chairs actually from Trinity Baptist that I went to a long time ago, and Emily went to even more long time ago.
Yeah.
And they went to an Indian mission down the road in Alberton,
Yeah.
and they're making good use of them. We got brand new chairs delivered here, and it just happened to be the week that everyone for this church was gone at hunting camp, and there was no one else to receive the chairs. So
Yeah.
we have a video that will get posted of us taking 3 hours and putting all these new chairs out. Which, these are beautiful chairs. We're actually sitting on them right now,
Yeah. They are very nice.
but they're heavy.
Okay, but the whole story behind that, again, this is not necessarily our story, but we got to see God work in this. The church had been saving up and working towards buying new chairs, and they had just talked to the company they were going to order them from, and they wanted to get them without the little rack on the bottom, which apparently costs more to not have the rack because they automatically put it on.
Well, she missed a step first, is that they were saving the money for it, and then the families of one of the interns that came up this summer paid for the rest of the chairs.
Yeah. So they had a specific gift donated to cover the cost of chairs. So they were going to order them. And the company said, okay, great. It'll be X amount. And they'll come in like 6 months or something like that. I can't remember.
6 to 8 weeks.
Oh, 6 to 8 weeks. Okay. So still, it was not going to be until like now that they were
Yeah.
going to be delivered.
They're supposed to be delivered the week after Christmas.
Yeah. So, like the next day, I think it was,
Yeah, the next day they called.
the company called Peter, the pastor here, back and said, oh, hey, we had another church just cancel their order, and all of they had the same exact color, the chairs without the racks, and they had more than enough for what they wanted here, and basically said they're ready to ship and they can be there in 2 days. So
Well, I found out they're actually already on the truck when they said that.
when they
'cause
canceled, yeah,
they were labeled for their church and everything when we got them.
yeah,
And so they were delivered here, and everyone came back and went, oh my goodness, new chairs, which God provided them. No question
yeah,
on that.
yeah.
And then obviously,
They were all like individually plastic wrapped. It took a long time to
Yes.
undo.
and they were all tied to each other and tied to the base, and they all had cardboard over everything, and
Yes.
everything was on, taped on, and
It was
They were-
they were very protected.
I don't know why they don't pack TVs like that.
Anyhow,
It's true. But anyway, so we did that and got the chairs out here, and it looked nice on the new carpet, which we had nothing to do with, so
but again,
we're giving them a shout out. Good carpet.
that it was a really another God thing, the whole carpet situation here.
We'll talk about that in a different video because we're going long already.
Because I keep talking. That's
Exactly.
what he's saying.
That is what I'm saying. And so, next big holiday is Thanksgiving. And so for Thanksgiving, we had a luncheon here. And we invited people from all over the county, which is not really a big county here.
Well,
Missoula County's
Missoula
small.
County, okay, we specifically invited rural
Yeah.
like ministry leaders, church leaders, or different ministry. Not so much the churches in town in Missoula, just because,
Well, they're really well supported already. So that's not where we're focused on. We're focused on the churches that can't provide for things, which is not to say everyone in town can, but there's other big churches in town that can help them. And that's not where we're called to be. And so it was a bit short notice, sadly, but we did have 3 different ministries that were represented, Elston, us, that showed up. Yes, 3.
okay.
Because we
Yeah.
had the way outside, and then we had Steve here from Superior, and then we had the outdoorsman. So we had 3 different other ministries,
Anyhow,
and we got to talk about the needs of this area and specifically about Frenchtown, and we have some projects in the works for addressing some of those things that we talked about, and we'll give you updates when we get them going because they're not yet.
yeah.
Just know that God is working, God is moving, and He has lots of things here that He wants to get done. And I'm sure He wants to do those things everywhere else in the world too, but people have to be willing to do the work. Which brings us to Christmas. And so Christmas was kind of a debacle for us because we had it set up to have a nice, beautiful live stream, and went to start the live stream, found out we couldn't use Emily's cell phone.
There were just so many hiccups with that, and we just presumed that it would all go smoothly because
We've done lots of live streams before on other things.
we just didn't. Maybe if we'd gone live on Facebook or something, it would have been easier. But
But we didn't. And
doing a
we
YouTube live stream was a little more.
we found out that we either have video or we have audio, and sometimes we have neither. So
It was so yeah. I think they're still all listed on the page. So
I think there's 4 different ones right now.
yeah, we'll probably clean those up later.
But regardless, it was still a good time talking to different people and getting to talk about things that we couldn't know in previous years. Because, I mean, how long ago was it that you had to go and write a letter to somebody to talk to them? Obviously not in our lifetimes because we had telephones. Yeah. But you were stuck to a telephone at the landline, wherever that was, which that feels like forever ago. Everyone
It
uses
just-
cell phones.
It does. I remember using rotary dial phones and all sorts of, but,
We haven't had a landline since
or
2014.
payphone.
I haven't seen a payphone that works for years.
An intact payphone. Usually it's just
Without
like
the receiver,
base
yeah,
without
but-
the receiver if you see it.
Sometimes with wires sticking out the bottom.
Yeah.
But we did that and talked to people and got some more news out about what's going on. And hopefully we'll do another live stream sometime soon. Maybe for Valentine's Day.
That'd be fun.
'Cause my Valentine's right here.
There's a little sarcasm in that. Yeah, we don't really do much for Valentine's Day. Usually he buys chocolates.
And then I eat it.
Then he eats it because I don't really like chocolate that much.
It's a sacrifice I'm willing to make.
Anyhow,
And
see our
so-
children making faces at us across the way.
So obviously that is basically everything from last year, which obviously there was a lot of outdoorsmen in there, but that's where we're needed right now. And so obviously God will take us where we're else supposed to be when we are needed there.
Well, and I think that we've needed to be here too.
Yes.
I started working at Chick-fil-A here in Missoula.
It is not the Lord's chicken, no matter what Andy says.
People say it's the Lord's chicken. It's just chicken, but it's good chicken.
But it's chicken.
It's good chicken though.
Now, if you served elk burgers, then it might be the Lord's.
Don't give Steven ideas. I'm
Chicken
sure
chopper for the win.
chicken chopper for Steven.
Yes,
Anyhow,
definitely.
and Isabella started her first job working at Chick-fil-A, and that's been good. She's going to be 18 here at the end of next week, so we're excited about that.
Hopefully after this video comes out.
Yeah. And then, yeah, I don't know. It's just been good. Some exceptionally wonderful people. Just great fellowship and encouragement.
Yeah. So then we have the road ahead, and obviously that the current theme of everything on
Everything,
updates
because
is,
it's
"We want the road
January.
ahead." We're not making resolutions because I don't like them, and I wouldn't do it anyway.
Well, if you're going to make a change,
Make a change.
make a change.
Don't resolve to make a change because you're not going to do it.
It's,
And don't use resolve on your carpets either. It doesn't work.
or in your
You can use it on your
steam
hair
cleaner.
though. It will dye your hair if you want to try that.
You don't encourage that.
I'm just
Oh
saying.
no, I said in your steam cleaner. I was thinking my mom used to put pine sol in her carpet steam
Which
cleaner,
also does not clean anything. It just smells.
and
It's
It's
a wax.
bad.
It's
It's a
just like
bad
Fabuloso. It's not a cleaner. And
anyway.
it's marketed as. That's aside from everything. So the road ahead, we have 2 big events that we are planning right now
We're not sure about timing or
this spring.
some of the final kind of details of it, but they are going to be fun. And
It's going to be fun, and hopefully they'll raise money, and they're going to have the Way Outside involved with them for
yeah,
both of them.
and we are going to take part in, I think, in
Another
some other
big
ministry that is going on
Could be
more
in
in
May.
town. May 6th.
Yes,
Yeah.
that we found out about, and we're going to
So
do what we can to take part in that one.
yeah.
And then we have some other people from here at the Outdoorsman that are going to help with our events too. Some that they may not know they're going to help with it yet.
I don't think it's fair to say we have pull, but like we have a lot of people that are very willing to help, that we are now connected with. And again, that's just another part of God taking care of things and directing things and getting us where we need to be. So
Well, part of everything is that we'll need volunteers. Because,
not just volunteers,
yeah, we don't want to tell people to help.
our kids.
Just like everything else that we do, we want to make it available for people to help when God tells them to. And if God says to come help with these events we have coming up, that you're not going to find out necessarily what they are yet, else than that they're going to be big, and one's going to involve running, and I'm not doing that. But I'll be there. I'm not running.
I'll run. I'll do it.
We'll find out. It may have something to do with Blue Mountain, if you know where that is.
And now I have to like,
And it may
prepare.
be fun. Could be fun.
it could be
But it
a
could involve
fun
running.
run. I don't know.
It could be.
If you are like me, usually fun and run don't go in the same sentence together, unless you're making fun of the fun runs.
Unless you're running for the cheesecake. If you're
That's fun for
cheesecake at
him.
the end, then that's amazing.
Oh, I don't know. You and cheesecake, sir.
Cheesecake. So we have that, and then we have something that's based upon a popular TV show that's going to be coming up. But those are all the details we can give right now.
I am excited about. I'm excited about both of them. I'm just excited to see what God is going to do this year. I know He's been working a lot in my heart and in our family, just getting us where we need to be to listen to Him and obey Him. And I don't know. It's just exciting.
And we'll see where God leads this year.
Yeah. So
We don't know if we're going to be doing lots of construction. We don't know if we're going to be starting a church camp yet.
yeah,
May just be praying about those things still.
yeah.
We'll find out.
We shall see. So thanks so much for bearing with us and our very long rambling. But
But if you want to volunteer, let us know.
you can check out our website. It's at heartministries.org. You can sign up for different activities there for volunteering or donating, or if you have a project that needs help. We are primarily in Western Montana right now, but that doesn't mean that we wouldn't consider other areas or pray about it and see if we can find someone
what we can
in
do.
that area to come and help. So wherever you're at in the country, please feel free to reach out to us if you need help, need prayer, have questions, and we look forward to talking with you soon.
You should also look at the Way Outside on Facebook.
Yeah. Okay. Anything else?
Yeah, like and subscribe.
All right. Thanks so much. We'll talk to you soon.